Hey guys, in this video I wanted to talk a little bit about a basic improvisation strategy. So, while it does differ, the language does differ, between jazz and rock and blues. The language differs, but a lot of the general approach is the same. You want to always try to be creating music and not just noodling around. Build from small motivic ideas and create your lines that way instead of just taking a scale and the key and noodling around. So I'll be talking about a couple of ways that you can approach this and how to build some of this vocabulary, right? So the first thing you want to do is, of course, learn all your scales, modes and arpeggios and all that stuff. So in the blog post, which you can see in the description, I've included a couple of scales that you can use over basic 2-5-1 progression like you see in a lot of jazz standards, right? So over the one chord you can always use, so we'll take the key of C, right? So over the one chord you could always use C major. Over the two chord you could use Dorian. Over the 5 chord you could use Mixolydian. Now keep in mind that these aren't your only options. These are just a couple of foundational tools for you, right? And also, eventually you don't really think about it this way. It's just kind of a way to get you started, right? A lot of people have issues with chord scale theory or whatever they're calling it. But I mean, I do think it's a useful tool, at least to get you started with the vocabulary and kind of helping you know where you are, creating roadmaps of the fretboard, right? So the first thing I would say is to learn all of your modes, and I would say even learn them across 6 strings. So if we're doing key of C, right? Just go. Learn each position. Right, and so on. And this is all in the PDF on the blog page, so you'll be able to download that. And also, a good thing to do is to learn once you've learned your basic triadic arpeggios for the key. So right, learn the 7ths as well, right? So and so on, and then move it to the different sets of strings as well, and so on, right? So this is a great way to start to build roadmaps for you. And once you feel comfortable with that, you can take a tune that you like, right? So we'll take a set of changes. Let's say the first 4 bars of all the things, right? So F minor 7, B flat minor 7, E flat 7, A flat major 7, right? So once again, this is on the PDF, so don't worry if I'm going too fast. And what we're gonna do in this little exercise is to highlight the guide tones, right? So that's the 3rds and 7ths. And the reason is that these are, the defining notes in the chord. These are what give the chord it's like main quality, right? So, and it's also a good way to practice being able to find these quickly, So over these chords, we could just go at the 3rds, right? So right? And then using the tools we discussed a second ago, you can start to create little phrases to sort of connect these things, right? I'm sorry. kind of sounds like "Fly Me to the Moon," but if you think about it, it's kind of the way it's approached, right? Like the strategy for writing that melody is something like that. So and then you just create little phrases with little touches of chromaticism or whatever, depending again on the style you're playing. I'm obviously using a more jazz oriented approach. But yeah, just highlight those guide tones, and you could also, take the arpeggios you learned and try applying them here, right? So and so on, right? Nothing too complicated about that, it's just picking up little bits of language from different players, which leads me to my last point, which is it's important to transcribe solos of your favorite players. Now, I mean, this is a topic of discussion and debate, and some people seem to believe that this hinders your creativity, and I certainly like players that don't transcribe. I have, some of my favorite players don't really transcribe or haven't transcribed, but I'm in the pro transcribing camp. I think it's important to take language from your favorite players and make it your own. It's the same thing as in everyday speech. Every idiom and expression you've ever learned, you've heard it somewhere else. So just make sure you at least listen to jazz musicians. If you want to transcribe or not is up to you, I guess. But I would say it's a great way to build your vocabulary. Anyway, that said, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And the link in the description has the PDF and the blog post, which will supplement this video. Thank you.